Good evening, everyone. December 26, 2010. My second Giants video in a week. And unlike last week, when I said they were embarrassed by the Eagles, this week, the Giants were not embarrassed by the Green Bay Packers in losing 45-17. They simply proved to us that they are not a good team. They have fooled us in the last couple of years into believing that they were a good team. Last year, the 5-0 start got drubbed, killed, second half of the season last year. This year, 9-4 start. Now they're 9-6, and if they're lucky, they might back into the playoffs, which of course I don't think they will, and they don't deserve it. But for the last 2 years, they almost had us convinced that they were a good team. And you know the old saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. The Giants are not a good team. They had a chance today to rebound from that embarrassing loss, which would have proved that they were a good team. Instead, they got drubbed. They got pummeled by the Green Bay Packers. They got outplayed, out-finessed, out-toughened, out-coached, outplayed, etc., etc., etc. It all starts with the coaching staff. You know, earlier in the year, the Patriots lost to the Browns. They regrouped, got back together, and now they are, by far, the best team in football. The Giants could have proven a lot today by rebounding after that embarrassing loss, but instead, they got crushed by the Green Bay Packers 45-17. And like I said last week, it starts with the coaching staff, and they've all got to go. Coughlin, Perry Fuel, Gilbright, and that non-existent special teams coach. Giants have, of course, the worst special teams coach and team in the history of, to me, in the league. They are just the worst. They can't defend on special teams. There's no offense on special teams. You don't have any good punt returner. No kickoff returner. Perry Fuel, I think he did a decent job in the beginning of the season, but his defense got very predictable, and he never adapted. He never changed while the rest of the league did. And that's why the Giants are getting overwhelmed on defense. And in offense, Gilbright, who I've never liked. I've never showed any kind of anything for Kevin Gilbright. Again, a very predictable offense. You know, there are a lot of things you can do with this offense. They have some really, really good players, although they do miss Steve Smith, a very underrated receiver. You know, and I love Eli Manning. I really do. You know, there's always going to be interceptions. He's always going to have that one bad pass. But this year, and we have a really good, I think we have a really, really good receiving core. But again, a lot of interceptions because of deflections, interceptions because of poor routes being run. You know, and Coughlin's got to stop embarrassing his players. I mean, I guess that's okay to embarrass your players when you have to. But Coughlin has embarrassed himself with his coaching this year. And I love Tom Coughlin. Playoffs every year. A great Super Bowl win. The biggest upset aside from, of course, the Jets beat the Colts back in '69. And what really bugs me about the Giants, especially for the last 2 years of Giant play, and that is, you know, when there's an altercation after a play, the Giants are like really tough and nasty and tough guys. But in the trenches, like today, Giants get pushed around. There are a bunch of wimps in the trenches. And that's where games are won and lost in the trenches. You know, and then you got the fumbling. Fumbling, poor route running, dropping passes. You know what that is? It's two things. Discipline and focus. And where does that come from? The coaching staff. There has been no coaching this year. There has been no managing this year. Now I want to make a couple points about the game, and then my rant and venting will be over. Just like Kevin Voss today. Missed 2 critical 10-yard passes. And on top of that, when Brandon Jacobs made that fumble after that great run, Voss had an open shot to recover that fumble. Somebody pushed him away like a feather, and of course the Packers, you know, at that time, the game was over. And let's not forget Coughlin with his challenges. When Jacobs fumbled that ball, he challenged the fact that it went out of bounds. That was a dopey decision to challenge that. Because later on, when Eli threw a pick, the DB only got 1 foot in bounds, and Coughlin could not challenge that. And of course, the Packers kept the ball. This is the kind of stuff. This is, poor decision making, no discipline, no focus. The fumbles are there. 15 games, 40 turnovers. All the Giants got to do now, the next game, whatever they do, just pack it up and go make some more Subway commercials. That's all I can say. This has been a very frustrating last 2 years when the Giants tried to almost convince us that they were a good team. They proved today they are not a good team. They ran out of steam, poor offensive calling, poor defensive calling. Nobody ever changed and adapted. Gilbride and Perry Fuel. What you have to adapt as the season progresses because the season gets tougher. If there's one constant in Tom Coughlin's career with the Giants as a coach, they all start off great. But Coughlin near the end of the season is under 500. And that's got to be addressed. Special teams has to be addressed. Getting a kickoff returner, a good one, is got to be addressed. It's unbelievable. And I'm a real Giants fan. I've been watching the Giants since the days of Fran Tarkenton, Homer Jones, and Pete Gogolak. I'm not really what they call a diehard. I don't believe in that diehard stuff for them. I can get pissed, but I don't believe in that diehard stuff. But I'm loyal. No matter what my team does, I'm with my team. But I'm a realistic fan. I can look at things and say, sometimes they do. And right now, the Giants stink. The Giants are not a good team. And we definitely miss Steve Smith. But that is not a good excuse because every team has injuries and every team has to adapt. The Giants have not adapted. As the season has progressed, the Giants keep doing the same thing over and over again. It's incredible, and that's the coaching staff. And I hope Reese has the balls, the gonads, to make decisions to remove these coaches. Coughlin's got to go. Even I think Perry Fuel's got to go. I think we need a better strength and conditioning coach. This team is not a strong team. Piss poor tackling. Our secondary is terrible when tackling. I can't believe how many missed tackles our secondary has had all year. And I can call everybody in the secondary toast because every one of them gets burned. And of course we have a non-existent linebacking core. Can anybody really name our linebacking core? I can, but I'm not going to because they all stink. That's got to be addressed too in the draft next year or via trade or something. But the Giants are not a good team. They don't deserve to go to the playoffs. They probably won't make the playoffs, which of course if they do, it'll just extend our agony because they'll probably get pummeled. Because I can't imagine them being lucky. They don't deserve to be lucky. They haven't earned to be lucky. I didn't see any effort today. I love Eli Manning, but I think he's kind of been dragged down with the rest of the team. I want him as my quarterback. Great receiving core. They need some experience. Poor route running these last few games. I like Lawrence Tynes. Now that he's got that new holder, he's made I think 16 or 17 field goals in a row. He's fine. Special teams has to be addressed. Kickoff returning, punt returning, special team, the whole works. The Giants are not a good team, and they proved it today. And to me, they have no pride. You can't go into a game where you can clinch a playoff spot and lose by 28 points and 5 or 6 turnovers. 15 games, 40 turnovers. That starts at the top with Coughlin. He has not. I don't know what he's doing. Last week when he embarrassed himself going out to Matt Dodge. Matt Dodge had nothing to do with last week's loss. He's afraid to address the other players because he doesn't want to insult them, hurt their feelings. Well, they stink. Right now, the whole team stinks. I love a lot of those players. I loved them, a lot of those players. But right now, as a team, they stink. What happens next week, I don't know. But I really hope they don't back into the playoffs because they do not deserve it. We need a revamping of the coaching staff, and we need an infusion of new blood next year. Some toughness. This team has no toughness. So right now, just go home, play your last game, and then go out and make your Subway commercials. Because right now, you know, this is just not a good team. You're a second-rate team, and hopefully next year there'll be some changes. You normally I'd be irate about this, but I'm not, because I can accept the fact that the Giants, and I hate to be repetitive, are not a good team, and they proved it today. I don't think I'll be doing another Giants video because they're probably going to lose next week, and I think I'm done venting about the Giants. I'll go back to do my autograph stuff, but very disappointing today. But like I said, they've tried to fool us into believing that they're a good team, and they are just not. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'll see you guys sometime.